It is time for the Super Fours. Forget all the scheduling nightmares of this Asia Cup. This is now the business end of this multi-nation tournament. To build up to India, Bangladesh and Pakistan, Afghanistan on ESPN Cricket for Match Day with our technology partner Vivo. I am Rana Kapoor. We're focusing on the game in Dubai, a rivalry that has assumed its own little bite in recent times. Bangladesh versus India. We all remember a game or two that comes to mind. A no ball by that reprieved the man who leads India today, the man who was removed from this squad, who stung Bangladesh in the World T20 at home, the Nida Haz Trophy final. Here we are, Super 4 game, less than 16 hours after Bangladesh went down to Afghanistan and had to make the tough trip. Deep Das Gupta sympathizes with Bangladesh, but I'm sure backs India to beat them. Welcome, Deep.
Thank you so much. Oh, what a question to start off with. Well, yeah, I mean, you're spot on with that. I mean, yeah, you do, because you've seen Bangladesh grow in the last couple of years and the talent that they have. Obviously, from that perspective, you want to see them grow. While on the other side, obviously, India, we've seen how good they've been. I mean, I think it's going to be a good game, bottom line.
Back-to-back games are tough on Bangladesh, but you wouldn't tell looking at Shahryar Nafees, who looks $1 million in spite of having a late night with us yesterday, reviewing the Afghan-Bangladesh game. Welcome, Shahryar. Good to have you. Big game, and yes, we know we sympathize with Bangladesh given the fatigue they've had, but they should be up for this one.
I think it's all finished, the bad scheduling and all that. Now it's Super 4 rounds. So I think Bangladesh should be ready, and they will want to start with a bang. Yes, it will be a very tough game. India is one of the favorites of the tournament, but I hope and pray that Bangladesh has put all the thinkings and negativity back, and they will go and play hard.
Well, if it is any reprieve for them, their fielders will not have to come out in the sun in Dubai. Their bowlers will not need to sweat it out in the first half, because Rohit Sharma has won a toss and says, for no apparent reason but the fact that they've done well chasing, they continue to chase in the Super 4 encounter. So India will bowl first, and they make one change, which is Ravindra Jadeja plays his first one-day international for India in well over a year now, in place of the injured Hardik Pandya. So that's the team for you. We did wonder whether there would be a case to bring back Khalil Ahmed under the sun and give one of the fast bowlers a bit of reprieve. None of that. No KL Rahul either. Deep Das Gupta, thoughts?
I think that's fine. The only reason we thought about Khalil was if Bhuvi or Bumrah needed a break because of the heat that you mentioned. But it's obviously it's apparent that they don't need a break. Yes, I mean, the other thing that could have happened, maybe trying out someone like KL Rahul. But anyways, I mean, I think they haven't really been tested as yet or not given enough opportunity, the middle order. I think maybe that's the reason. And good to see Jadeja back. I mean, he's been really good. Mind you, a year ago, he was a limited over specialist and suddenly was out of favour. But good to see him back, but obviously not for the reasons that he is back.
We'll spend a little time on the Indian team, and I will come to Shahryar with the Bangladesh team in just a bit. But since Jadeja has come back, this is a player of significant repute now, struggling to find a place as the lead spinner overseas. But a test match that certainly got everyone's attention with the way he batted in the final test at the Oval. And now being called in to play the role that Hardik Pandya is, of the professional all-rounder. You look at the numbers in just a bit. I don't know how much of that Champions Trophy in isolation would mean, okay, let's just get rid of both the finger spinners and look ahead. Whether you believe that Jadeja should still be within the one-day international setup, or like Ajit said on the preview yesterday, this was a great chance to try somebody new like Krunal Pandya or someone else.
Yeah, I mean, listen, now, like I said, a year ago, he was, I mean, a very intrinsic part of the one-day side.
But that doesn't read very well, though, Deep, for the last 3 years.
Yeah, because, you know, the mindset has moved on. I mean, when you were looking at the finger spinners, they were predominantly used to curtail the runs. That was predominantly their role, Ashwin and Jadeja. Suddenly, with the leg spinners and the wrist spinners coming in, the change of the spinner has changed. It's more for like picking up wickets than actually just curtailing runs. And I think that's the shift in the basic mindset of the Indian team in the middle overs. It's not about stopping runs, but picking wickets.
I'd love to get Shahryar on this, because I believe Bangladesh have a staple diet for left-arm spinners, Shahryar. But the question of Ravindra Jadeja, or the concern is, unlike, say, Shakib or, you know, other left-arm spinners with a little more variety or round-arm, Jadeja, if the wicket is not helping him, just becomes completely neutralized. Do you see that a real concern with the bowling in spite of all the reputation he has?
No, I think I like the choice of Jadeja, because you know, you need a number 7 player who can bowl a bit and who can bat. So if you don't take out Jadeja from the squad, then you have 6 players, 6 specialist batsmen, and then you have all the bowlers. And the other guys who are new to the team, they are not tested. Jadeja has done really well in the past. And what happens is he can contribute with the bat if he gets opportunity. And yes, if he's not taking wickets with his bowling style and pace, he can just contain the batsman from not scoring that much. I think it's a fair choice for Indian team management to give this guy a go, because he has been your premier spinner for a long time. So suddenly, yes, the role has changed for the spinners, but a player who has performed well and who has given you so many winning moments shouldn't be thrown out like that.
The point that I wanted to make, you spoke about Krunal. I'm a big fan of Krunal. The thing is, what Krunal brings to the table is top order batting.
Yes.
If you see now, apart from Shikhar to open, in the top 6, you need, for me, I think you need a left-hander batsman. And someone like Krunal, we've seen last year in the IPL, he can play different situations pretty well. So Krunal, I think, should be part of this, the scheme of things, and should be given a chance sooner or later, because once you have a left-hander batting at number 5 or something, because every team has a leg spinner now, so you just bring in a different dimension to your top 6 batting, and obviously he can bowl. Now the issue is whether the team management thinks whether he can bowl 10 overs. Is he a 10-over bowler or not? That's the big question. For Jadeja, yes, he's a 10-over bowler. But whether with Krunal, it's a choice between Krunal or Kedar. I mean, I don't know whether it's that what the team management is thinking.
All right. I've always liked Jadeja as a batsman, but somehow I don't think India have ever looked at him as a man to get runs. I'm not getting carried away with one innings at the Oval.
Right.
There seem to be a coming of age
but
as a batter,
there's a
Jadeja.
good reason to get carried away with that one innings, because what he showed was a lot of maturity.
Yes.
He did not do any
he wasn't slogging.
He wasn't slogging. But before that, if you look at the opportunities that he got to bat, he did not do any favors to himself the way he got out or the way he played. He was like hit or miss kind of a batsman. We know he can bat, but his attitude was a little different. But that one inning in Oval, I think, changed a lot of things, at least for me, the way I thought he can bat. So I hope he brings that that dimension in his batting, and maybe he can bat at number 5. I don't know.
I mean, there's no question about the value of Jadeja in limited overs. Gun fielder, bowls, bats. This could be a big calling, or maybe a bit of a break that the Indian all-rounder needs. What about Bangladesh's team? We obviously expected 2 changes, and those are the obvious ones that we've seen. So Abu Hidar, in spite of a good debut, misses out. Mustafizur Rahman comes in, and Shahryar did mention that they will go for Nazmul Hussain Shanto, who had an unimpressive debut, but it's only 1 game. So he continues to stay at the top of the order. Back comes Mushfiqur Rahim. Out goes the experienced Mominul Haq. Big game. I think it was an expected call, Shahryar, but you did say yesterday that you personally would have banked on the experience of Mominul.
I'm always a fan of experience, because it doesn't come in a short time, and Mominul has proved his worth in test matches. If a batsman can bat in test matches and score averaging 48, 49, 50, then he should be given a fair chance. Yes, this particular tournament is not the proper area to give you a proper chance, but in past we haven't done enough justice with Mominul. But fairly so, when there is a management and they backs and believes in a player, they will go for them, and that's why they have gone for Shanto. Other than that, Mustafiz comes in automatically. So it's not it's a team which we have predicted for yesterday, and it's a predictable team.
Just a quick one, Shahryar. Shakib at 3 or Shakib at 5?
It's a big call. It's a big call, because we have missed out of proper number 3 batsman for a long time, and we have gone for Shakib in number 3 because we were planning to play him in the 2019 World Cup. That's why we have given him that opportunity. He has been successful in number 5. I would like to see him bat number 5 every time, because all his career he has batted that area. In that case, we need to look for a new batsman who can bat number 3. So what the problem is, you have a new opening batsman, and then you have a new number 3 batsman. You are going to the World Cup, the batting lineup looks little bit unsettled. That's why Shakib is batting number 3. I don't have a problem with that, but you need a guy who contributes with the bat in the top of the innings.
Gee, I mean, I like you raised that question of the batting order because I haven't followed all of Bangladesh cricket since the World Cup. But why is Mahmudullah not looked at as someone who can bat high if they are looking for number 3? If Shakib's preferred position is
Absolutely,
5.
and he's got a good number. I mean, you spoke about the World Cup. He got what 200s batting at number 3.
And he bats 6. Is that a waste of his
Yeah,
resources?
I mean, because he's not bowling as well, right? I can understand you batting at number 6 and you bowling 4-5 overs every game, but he's not bowling either. So, I mean, it's kind of a luxury to have a proper batsman at number 6 in this day and age.
I mean, Shahryar, what's it like? Just individuals who prefer batting at certain places? I think Mahmudullah got that 100 at, was it 4 that he was batting or 3 in the World Cup? But why is he not looked at as the man to possibly bat 3 and maybe Shakib in his comfort zone at 5?
Now, basically what was happening, for a long time, Mahmudullah batted number 7. Now he has come up. He has done really well in number 7 and now he's batting number 6. In this tournament, it's okay like he's batting number 6, but I would like to see him bowling more. If he's bowling more, and then in number 7 we have got Mossadegh who can bowl off spin. So if we can take like bowl 10 overs with these 2 guys, then we can have a luxury to include another left-hand spinner in the place of Mehdi, maybe, because then you don't need 3 off spinners bowling. That will give you a more variety in your bowling attack. But at this moment, I think it's too late to make those changes. If the management is thinking about Shakib batting number 3, he will go number 3. Then Mushfiq. Then I would like to see Mahmudullah bat in that case number 5.
Okay, let me come back to the toss itself now. You go with Rohit Sharma, short sort of tournament. India play all their games in Dubai. They've won chasing, just keep chasing.
Yeah, fair enough. I think if they want to do it that way, if they see it that way, because the other important thing is chasing down in the past. I mean, we haven't been tested as yet. This tournament has been like kind of one-sided most of the games. Would like to see what happens if you really are chasing a decent total.
Yes.
And then because the other thing I would like to see is maybe MS Dhoni batting top of the order. He hasn't batted so far. I mean, he's played an innings there. But maybe because everyone else has got a few, game time. But
where would you want to bat him? 4?
I would like to see him at 4. I would like to see him at 4, predominantly because he really hasn't, especially this game, because he hasn't got too much of game time as far as batting is concerned. So maybe bat him at 4 today and see how it goes. Because again, he does not play all 3 formats, and there are only 23 games left before the World Cup, the ODIs. So maybe give him some game time and bat him up the order.
One thing that is almost if you look at a non-inclusion, that will give you an idea of a conversation. Not playing KL Rahul. I thought that with Virat Kohli's absence, they might take this chance to play KL Rahul at 3, possibly see if he can find some days. But there seems to be some clarity with this Rohit Sharma-led team that he's the reserve opener.
Yeah.
That's where he plays.
I think that's not a bad idea, because I don't think KL, as of now, is suited to bat at number 4. Unless there is another option. I don't know whether the team management exploring or not. If you're really struggling, KL Rahul at 3 and Virat at 4. You know, that is an option.
I think we saw that in England in one of the games when an early wicket fell.
Yeah. So that is an option that can be explored. But as you mentioned, you know, clarity is so important. And if you're clear about it, because, you know, a while back it was Ajinkya who was, the third opener, and then he had to play at number 4. If there is clarity, I think that's how, because it's difficult to prepare, because you prepare differently in one day if you're playing at number 4 and differently if you're top of the order. You know, and especially if you're playing with Virat at number 4, then you have to rotate the strike and run well between wickets. So it's a different ask for a number 4, and I think Ambati Rayudu is done really, really well to kind of cement his place. I'm very happy the way he's played in the last few games that he has.
If you were Mashrafi Mortaza, Shahryar, would you be relieved when you hear Rohit Sharma say we're going to have a bowl first?
It will be kind of a breather, because they didn't have a very good day yesterday, and it's hot. So I think Mashrafi will be happy batting first, and then they'll get a good rest, and then they bowl. It will be a good game, I believe. Bangladesh batsmen needs to take some time. If we look at Afghanistan, I have really liked how they have built their innings. They didn't go hard. These are tough conditions. They stood there, make up partnerships, and in last 10 overs they have scored their runs. So I would like to see Bangladesh bat like in that way. maybe building up partnerships. You know, the mistake that Pakistan made the other game, they wanted to score too many runs, and that's why they struggled and ended up 170 something like that against India. So yes, you are playing one of the best batting side against. Like India has one of the best batting side, so you don't build up partnerships, try to score something around 250 to 270 and be smart about your game.
I think that's an excellent point Shahryar makes, just the approach and how each team should go about it first innings. Just some numbers on the venue in Dubai. We'll bring that up for you because Pakistan were guilty of probably wanting to get 600 in that game against India, and they fell a few hundreds short. But the fact remains that this is a game of more consequence. So we need to figure out what is the ideal way to go. And my God, have Afghanistan shown the way in Abu Dhabi to just measure their batting when they're batting first. Average first inning score is 214. This is the last 3 years. Conditions have been somewhat similar in recent times. And the team batting second has won 8 out of 13. So it's not heavily in favor of the team batting second. But yes, it is 8 out of 13. And the highest successful run chase is 220. Different standard of cricket, you would assume, with Ireland and Scotland, no disrespect meant. But it tells you something that you need to know as a team batting first now. Don't make the mistake Pakistan made.
Absolutely, yes. And see, the good part about Afghanistan, as Shahryar mentioned, is they have so much faith in their bowling.
Yes.
That's exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for anything around 220, 220 plus. So that helps them. Irrespective of what surface they are playing on, that's what they're looking at. So that makes things a little easier. As far as Bangladesh is concerned, listen, if you're targeting at 220, 230, chances are if you have wickets in hand, you'll end up finishing around 240, 250, which should be a good total on this pitch. And they also, I mean, if you look at Bangladesh, they have a decent bowling attack on a surface like this.
You know, the conversation we had yesterday with Shahryar too was that while yesterday's game had little to take from as far as significance in the tournament goes, it was a chance for Bangladesh's less experienced batsmen to at least get some runs, feel good about themselves. That's not happened. We've dug out the numbers for you, and I'll just throw them up before I take the conversation to Shahryar Nafees. But these are the Bangladesh batsmen minus the big three, minus Shakib, Mahmudullah and Mushfiqur Rahim. And we've got an average of 13 in 14 matches for Liton Das at the top of the order. Nazmul Hussain's got just the one game. Mohammad Mithun in 5 games batting in the middle order, averaging in the mid-20s. Mominul Haq hasn't played ODI cricket in a while, but there's a reason he's not been excluded. Mosaddaq Hussain, an average of 30, coming in a little lower. So that's the other problem, isn't it, Shahryar? They needed a blinder from Mushfiqur in the first game. What you want now is for a couple of guys at the top of the order, short of runs, to get the approach right. How do they get it right?
You know, first of all, as a team, Bangladesh has a luxury of having those 5 big players who are experienced and who has been performing really for the last few years. When we are new to the team, you should be really happy because the other guys, the big guys or the senior guys are performing. So you can chip in, take a little bit of breath and make your contribution. For me, the guys who are new, they shouldn't think about those numbers and all that. I think what they can do is they can believe in themselves, back their strength, because they're the big guys who are performing. So just go and help them, support them. And by doing that, you learn how to perform in those conditions and in those situations, and eventually you will become a performer. Yes, the numbers aren't great, but what I believe, the guys who are playing in the team, they're highly talented. They have done really well in the domestic tournaments. And
we'll just keep that conversation going with Shahryar while we re-establish the link. But there has to be someone in the dressing room telling them now that that's exactly what you need to do. Don't aim for, just bat for 220, which means take your time as your openers.
Absolutely. But you also have to be a little careful because if the average score is around 214, and we've seen that in the first game that India played, the pitch slows down later, right? So you have to be a little proactive in the first 10, 15 when the ball is still new, because the chances are you're not going to have those last 10 over 80 runs, 90 runs situation, even if you have wickets in hand. So you've got to be a little careful, and that's where I think you've got to find the right balance between attack and defense kind of a thing, and be smart about it and matured about it.
To be fair, India have looked good with their bowling unit, but there are still question marks. The day Kedar Jadhav goes for say 15 in his first over, it might give the captain something to think about.
Yes, and the important part is, for me, Kedar will be your 6th bowling option. He cannot be your 5th bowler. The day Kedar starts playing as the 5th bowler, because Kedar is predominantly a batsman who can bowl, right?
Of course.
So suddenly you make him the 5th bowler. That's where the problem is, because for Kedar, then he's playing as a bowler, as a bowler who's expected to bowl 10. So as long as he's the 6th bowler, a batsman who can bowl, I think he will deliver more often than not. And he's got that attitude which I love. He's got that swag about him.
You know, Shahryar, as someone who's, as a international cricketer who watches from home, and I know there are enough international cricketers that watch from home that cannot fathom why batsmen don't take Kedar Jadhav apart. And he only seems to be getting harder and harder to deal with every game.
I think the way he bowls, probably the batsmen become a bit overconfident, because you are playing good seam bowlers like Bhuvaneshwar Kumar and Bumrah, and then you are having those Chahals and Kuldeep, and then you suddenly find Kedar Jadhav bowling. You want to go hard, and that's how he chips in and takes wickets. I totally agree with Deep that yes, he's a batsman who can bowl. If you want him to bowl 10 overs, then it will be very hard for him, and suddenly he becomes a bowler. Other than that, he has been doing good with the bat, and every captain will love the opportunity to have a player like Kedar who can bowl a bit.
Okay, just moving our attention to the other Super 4 game. There's simultaneous action in the Asia Cup in Abu Dhabi. Afghanistan have been sitting with their feet up overnight waiting for Pakistan, and they've arrived with 3 changes as Sarfraz Ahmed's team, the biggest of which being Mohammad Amir's exclusion, which was somewhat in the conversation around this game. He's question marks around whether this is the same bowler that tormented India in the Champions Trophy final and whatnot. But there are not just 1 but 3 changes. Shaheen Afridi, the 18-year-old left-arm seamer, gets a maiden call-up, so a debut for him. Plays a bit of T20 cricket for Pakistan. Haris Sohail comes in, so he's a spin bowling all-rounder, and also in is Mohammad Nawaz for the injured Shadab Khan. Haris Sohail coming in for Fahim Ashraf. So they've preferred the spin bowling all-rounder to the seam bowling all-rounder. I don't know if that's just a reflection of playing in Abu Dhabi or what that call is, but the big one is no Mohammad Amir, Deep.
Oh, yes, and we were discussing on the first game that Pakistan played about Mohammad Amir, because his strength is getting the ball to swing, and if the ball is not swinging under these conditions, it won't. Then it becomes a different, because he doesn't have the pace factor. He's not quick, he's not rapid. He bowls at maybe a 130, early 130s. So that becomes an issue if he's not swinging the ball, and that's been pretty evident. If you look at his numbers in the last 10 odd ODIs that he's played, yes, he hasn't really picked a lot of wickets. And if I'm not wrong, I don't think Pakistan has looked at those numbers since the Champions Trophy. Mind you, the Champions Trophy was in England where the ball was moving around. So the numbers look so different there. So this is... the other important thing is the biggest challenge for this generation, especially bowlers, faster bowlers, is playing all 3 formats. And I don't know whether he's physically ready to play all 3 formats. Maybe, you know, workload management and things like that should be looked into.
To be fair, in that Champions Trophy, I thought he was one of the only guys who's managing to swing the ball.
Absolutely, and that's his strength. So you got to be a little careful how you use him and where you use him. And these conditions in Abu Dhabi or be it Dubai, the ball's not going to swing. And to be fair, the white ball, I haven't really seen the white ball swinging that much in the last year and a half. Even though there are 2 new balls being used from both ends, I really haven't seen the ball swinging that much.
I mean, even if he's woefully out of form going into it, if you know what he's capable of, it's still a brave call for a team to take, or no? It was coming.
It was coming.
Or do you think he'll play him against India and maybe give this one a let off?
Maybe as I mentioned, maybe
that he needs or something.
Yeah, like maybe as I mentioned, workload management or something. Maybe he's feeling tired and all. That's a fair call, because they also have the luxury. I can understand if you don't have the bench strength, you don't have the luxury of the resources that Pakistan has. Then I can understand. But when you have someone like Shaheen Afridi, he's looked really good in the T20s and the PSL as well. Maybe give him a go.
Maybe it's that type of bowler, Shahryar. Just look at Shaheen Afridi's numbers too. And we saw Abu Hidar with an impressive debut. We know Mustafizur Rahman has done well, but those aren't quite the similar type of left-arm bowlers that say Mohammad Amir is. Now, Shaheen Afridi has made a name for himself in T20 cricket, average of 26, striking at 19. So I'm just trying to think of whether it's because they're playing in Abu Dhabi and in Dubai that you might just want a different type of bowler, someone who's not Mohammad Amir. Your thoughts?
I think the condition has played a lot of part behind these decisions, because yes, you want your best bowlers to be fresh to play the biggest game of the tournament, and I think against Afghanistan, Pakistan has taken that opportunity to give rest. Probably, I'm not sure, but I think so. rest to Mohammad Amin and give this new guy. I think they will be little bit of more confident about this Afghanistan game. They want to win this game, and they believe that with this bowling attack they can do the job, and then give Mohammad Amin a chance to play against India and Bangladesh.
Right, 2 chances. That could very well be. It could very well just be for this game. You never know. Maybe it's just the kind of kick that Mohammad Amir needs to come back in a game against India in a couple of days. Other changes: Fahim Ashraf out, Haris Sohail in, Shadab Khan out, and Mohammad Nawaz in. So I don't know if that's again a
rest.
Fahim Ashraf's done okay. Actually.
Yeah. Fahim Ashraf's done all right. Shadab would definitely be either a niggle or just resting him, I believe. But you know what? This Afghanistan team is.
I was just coming to that. If you're Pakistan now, you'd be a little wary playing these
games. You're Pakistan, India. You've got to be careful with Afghanistan in these situations, because they are a handful. Mind you, they have the bowling attack, but the batsmen have also started firing.
Yeah, one quick swap, Deep. Najibullah Zadran in for Samiullah Shenwari from the game yesterday. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same team. And they know their modus operandi, that they're going to rely on their bowlers to squeeze every inch of the other batting.
Absolutely. You know, those at least 20 overs of Mujib and Rashid.
And they're batting again. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. They're batting again.
Exactly. They're batting again. They're in their comfort zone, so it's not going to be that easy. And I'm telling you, I mean, this is now, you know what, this stage, the Super Fours, is going to be, you know, the hierarchy kind of a thing, right? You have India, Pakistan. Now, who's the third team in Asia? Sri Lanka is definitely not there. They haven't been there for a while now. So now, who is the number 3 team? Is it Bangladesh or is it Afghanistan?
The evidence of yesterday, you don't want to make any judgments. It was a game of
no, that's just one-off game, yeah.
And Shahryar is a friend of us, so we won't make any judgments. But yes.
But I'm telling you, the Super Fours, sorry Shahryar, but the Super Four will also kind of tell you the hierarchy in the Asian cricketing nations.
Perhaps. But again, they're doing what they like, Shahryar. They're batting first. They've played both games in Abu Dhabi, where Pakistan, even though they've played all their cricket here, in this tournament they haven't played there. This is a nervous little first innings, isn't it?
Yeah, to me, there's some factors. You know, like Afghanistan has played a lot of cricket in UAE, so they know the conditions very well. Secondly, the weather we are having in UAE is not that suitable for the players. So what's happening is, like, the batsmen are getting tired, they are like getting dehydrated and all that, and the wickets are slow, and the grounds are very weak, and the outfield is very slow. So what having, they are having 3 very good spinners. So like, you are coming to bat and suddenly it's very hot, you are getting tired, you are hitting the ball is not going as quickly as you wanted to. So all the factors are helping Afghanistan, and yes, they have been smart, and they, you know, like, the team all out, and their batsman has been very smart. They haven't go hard, they just wanted to score 220, 230, 250, and that's why they have been successful in this tournament.
Very well. Very quickly, focusing our attention back to India-Bangladesh. The number for Bangladesh, this is what we should aim to get.
I think 230. If they'll go at 230, the chances are they'll get 250.
Okay. Shahryar, final word?
And I totally agree with Deep Das. You try to score 230 to 240, and then you can score 260, I think.
Very well. Let's see where they get and how close they get. Shahryar Nafees has to answer his door, and Deep Das Gupta will join me with a chat with him at halftime. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We will see you at halftime. Then 2 games. ESPN Cricinfo's mobile app will keep you up to date with both. Join us at halftime for ESPN Cricinfo Matchday with our technology partner Vivo.